So in this video we will discuss the zero growth model. Now in the zero growth model, basically the growth rate is zero, as you can see over here. Now how do you calculate the stock price in this case? The dividend stream would be a perpetuity in this case. So for example, in our previous we had a dividend of 2 over here. And if the growth rate is zero, growth rate zero means that the dividend will not change. There will be no change at all. So 1, 2, 3. The dividend will remain the same in every case. ठीक है, यहाँ पे आपका ग्रोथ रेट ज़ीरो है तो आपका डिविडेंड यहाँ पे कांस्टेंट रहेगा, बिकॉज अगर ये 2 से 5 हो जाता तो ग्रोथ हो रही होती, और अगर ये 2 से 1 भी हो रहा होता तो इन दैट केस इवन नेगेटिव ग्रोथ हो रही होती, पर ग्रोथ थी वहाँ पे भी. यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ज़ीरो, यानी कि इट विल रिमेन कांस्टेंट, देयर विल बी नो चेंज एट ऑल. नाउ इफ़ यू लुक एट द कैश फ्लो टाइप, now this cash flow will also go till infinity because you're dealing with stocks over here. This cash flow is actually a perpetuity. You have already studied time value of money and you know what are the characteristics of a perpetuity. So the cash flow has to be every year, which is happening over here. The cash flow has to be equal, so it will remain equal in every year, and the cash flow has no end to it. You do not know when a perpetuity is going to end. So because this is a stock has no defined time limit, so the stock can go on till infinity. तो परपेचुइटी की 3 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स क्या है? नंबर 1 कि कैश फ्लो इक्वल होगी, नंबर 2 दैट इट विल कम एवरी ईयर, एंड नंबर 3 दैट यू विल नॉट नो व्हेन इट विल एंड. परपेचुइटी का फॉर्मूला होता था present value is equals to PMT over R. So in this case your PMT is the dividend and you will divide it by R over here. So if you're calculating P naught, this will be the formula in that case. So the dividend is 2 and the required rate of return was 13%. This is in continuation to the question we began with. So the rate is still 13%. The stock price will be 15.38. So basically this is the same formula, but over here your growth rate is 0. So the formula that you studied previously was the constant growth formula, R minus G. I'll just open a note because the space over here is less. So this is the formula. In case of constant growth, so where the dividend is growing at a constant rate. Now in zero growth, the growth rate is 0%. This is actually the same formula, it's not different. R minus 0 will become D1 over R. So over here, this is the price of the stock. Now again, like in that formula, because it's the same formula basically, this is calculating the present value of all future dividends. So even though the formula uses only D1 over here, it is actually calculating the present value of D1, D2, D3, 4, 5, 6 until infinity. All the dividends are incorporated over here till infinity. So D1 से लेके infinity तक जितने भी dividends मिलेंगे उन सब की present value ये formula एक साथ निकाल के आपको बता रहा है. Present value 15.38 है, which is the intrinsic value of the stock, the price of the stock. Now, out of common shares and preferred shares, which one can have this pattern? So the answer is that usually your preferred shares have this pattern, because in preferred shares the dividend is fixed and it can be annual as well. So preferred shares will have this. Common shares are most unlikely to have this pattern. In common shares, usually the dividend is not fixed and it keeps on fluctuating, whereas in preferred shares your dividend is fixed. So this kind of a cash flow where the growth rate is zero, so the dividend is already fixed and you will get the same dividend every year, will happen in preferred shares.